2 years ago, my husband threw my suitcases onto the rain-soaked sidewalk and told me I was dead weight. Today, I just bought the penthouse apartment in the building where he works as a junior accountant. As I stepped out of the elevator, I saw him standing in the lobby, holding a stack of files and looking like he hadn't slept in weeks. He recognized me immediately. His jaw dropped, and he actually had the nerve to say, "Elena, you look incredible. Can we talk?" I didn't even slow down. I just handed him my empty coffee cup and said, "Be a dear and throw that away for me, David. I'm late for a board meeting. My name is Elena." For 8 years, I was the perfect supportive wife. When David decided to quit his stable job to find himself and start a failed tech blog, I worked 3 jobs to keep us afloat. I was the one who paid the mortgage, the one who cooked every meal, and the one who listened to his complaints every single night. I thought we were a team. I thought all the sacrifice would be worth it once he finally found whatever it was he was looking for. But David didn't want a team. He wanted a ladder. And as soon as he landed a decent entry-level job at a big firm, he decided he didn't need the ladder anymore. It happened on a Tuesday. I had just come home from a double shift at the hospital where I worked as a lab tech. I was exhausted, smelling like chemicals, and looking forward to a quiet night. Instead, I found David standing in the living room with 3 large suitcases. None of them were mine. "I can't do this anymore, Elena," he said, his voice cold and clinical. You're stagnant. You've become this tired, bitter version of yourself, and it's holding me back. I've met someone at the firm. Someone who understands my ambition. Someone who actually has a future." I was too stunned to cry. "David, I work those shifts so you could have a future. We have a lease." "We have. The lease is in my name now," he interrupted. "I've already paid you back for your half of the deposit. Your things are in the hall. Please be out by tonight." He didn't just leave me. He erased me. He took the apartment we had decorated together, the social circle we had built, and even our dog, Max, claiming I couldn't afford to keep him in a studio apartment. For the first month, I lived on a friend's couch. I felt like a ghost. But then, something snapped. I realized that the only thing holding me back wasn't my lack of ambition, it was the 180 pounds of narcissistic ego I'd been carrying for a decade. I took the money David had graciously returned to me, and I didn't spend it on rent. I spent it on a patent lawyer. You see, while I was working those lab shifts, I had developed a more efficient way to process blood samples. It was a side project I'd been tinkering with for years, but David always told me it was a waste of time. Without him there to belittle my ideas, I finished it. I didn't just get a patent. I got an investor. A year after David kicked me out, Elena Diagnostics was born. It was grueling. I worked 20 hours a day. I lived on ramen and caffeine. But this time, I wasn't working for someone else's dream. I was working for mine. By the end of the second year, we were acquired by a major healthcare conglomerate for a sum that made my head spin. I was suddenly the CEO of a multi-million-dollar subsidiary. I changed everything. My hair, my clothes, my zip code. But I kept the same fire in my heart. I bought a luxury penthouse in the heart of the city. Coincidentally, it was the top floor of the building where David's firm held their regional offices. That brings us back to the lobby. After I handed David my coffee cup, I didn't think about him again for 3 hours. I was too busy finalizing a deal that would make his entire firm's annual revenue look like pocket change. As I was leaving the building that evening, David was waiting by the fountain. He looked even worse in the daylight. His ambitious girlfriend had apparently left him 6 months ago for a partner at the firm, and he had been demoted twice for lack of focus. "Elena, please," he pleaded, standing up as I approached. I made a mistake. I was under so much pressure. I didn't realize what I had. Seeing you today, it made me realize I still love you. We could start over. I know a great little place for dinner. I stopped and looked at him. Really looked at him. And for the first time in 10 years, I felt absolutely nothing. No anger, no hurt, just a profound sense of boredom. "David," I said, my voice as smooth as silk. "You didn't make a mistake. You made a choice. You chose to throw away a human being because you thought they were an obstacle to your success. Now, I'm making a choice too. You're giving me another chance," he asked, a spark of hope in his eyes. "No," I replied. "I'm choosing to tell you that I just signed the paperwork to acquire this entire building. Your firm is now one of my tenants. And I've been reviewing the personnel files of the junior staff. Your performance reviews are, well, let's just say they're redundant." The color drained from his face. "You can't do that." "I can't." I smiled. "I think you'll find that as the new owner, I can do whatever I want with dead weight. Have your desk cleared by Friday, David. Max is waiting for me in the car, and we have a long drive to my beach house." David tried to sue for wrongful termination, but my legal team had 18 months of documented poor performance to back up the decision. He ended up moving back into his parents' basement, still telling anyone who would listen that I stole my success from the stability he provided. As for me, I'm just getting started. I have Max, a thriving company, and a life that David could never have imagined. Karma doesn't always come with an explosion or a loud crush. Sometimes, it's just the quiet realization that the person you looked down on is now looking down on you from the top floor. If you've ever been told you weren't good enough, let this be your sign to prove them wrong. Build your own empire. Hit that like button if you enjoyed Elena's revenge. Tell me in the comments, what would you do if your ex begged to come back after you became successful? And don't forget to subscribe to Karma Unleashed for more stories of justice and transformation. And remember, the truth doesn't need to shout. It just needs to be recorded. All names and details in this story have been changed for privacy purposes.